guys, it's day 2. Gosh, I'm out here barefoot and this sidewalk is hot. So I thought I would sit down and outside and we'd talk about mental health awareness on day 2. So, mental health awareness day 2. I thought one of the things that we could talk a little bit about is techniques for when you're feeling overwhelmed or you feel anxiety coming on, or you feel like things are getting too much to handle. What are some things that you can do? You know, people are going to say, Robin, people tell me to deep breathe and that doesn't help. And I will agree, deep breathing is something that does not always help. So, but let's talk about deep breathing, because for some it does help. So when we talk about deep breathing, we are talking about breathing in through your nose, breathing out through your mouth. And when you do that, you are going to place your hand on your abdomen and feel it as it feels full of air, and then blow the air out. So it's going to look something like this, and you can't see my hand on my abdomen, so we'll just pretend. So breathe in. Breathe out. And it's good if you can breathe out through pursed lips, and like that, and do it real slow. Also, if you can hold that breath and count to 5, or some people say 7, I say 5. I have asthma, so okay. For those of you who say, Robin, that doesn't work, let me tell you a story. I'll have patients call me. Good example is teenage, adolescent, young women call me on a weekend night, broke up with their boyfriend. They think their life is over, and they're crying hysterically, and I can't even understand them. And so what's the first thing I do to help them is I say, okay, let's take some deep breaths together. Okay, breathe in through your nose. Hold it. Out through your mouth. Now, these girls are sobbing, and I say girls because it mostly is girls, okay? I'm not being sexist here. And what do you think happens? They stop crying. They stop that sobbing, because it's almost impossible for our brains to do 2 things at one time, like deep breathing and feel anxious. If you're thinking about breathing, it's really hard to think about the anxiety at the same time. So I could be thinking about, let's say I think my neighbor is spying on me and it's making me really anxious. And, I'm getting all worked up. And so in through my nose, I hold it. Out through my mouth. And that was even a little quick, out through my mouth, because I don't want to sit here and, in through my nose, out through my mouth. And you do that about, 5 to 10 times. Now, and it does begin to calm you down. But let's say, okay, the moment you stop, you start feeling really, really anxious again. What do? Well, there's a second technique, and this is actually my favorite technique, and I find that most of my patients actually also found this technique really, really helpful. And that is grounding yourself using your 5 senses. So finding something you can see, something you can hear, something you can touch, something you can smell, and something you can taste. Now, that's doing a lot of things when you use your senses. It is totally distracting you from the anxiety, right? Okay, so I'm sitting here feeling anxious, and I want to do the 5 senses technique. So I hear the birds singing in my background. I see a car driving by. I just ate an apple, and I've got a little bit of the taste of that Granny Smith sweet apple in my mouth, so I can taste that. And then I can feel my skin, which is warm, sitting out here in the sun. And so I did seen a car, heard a bird, touched my skin, tasted an apple. What am I forgetting? Smell. Oh, what do I smell? Smell. Oh, I smell just like fresh cut grass, flowers, blossoming trees. And you know, you don't have to be outside to do this. You can be anywhere. This is absolutely so peaceful. So this is a perfect example. But so that is another technique, and that is actually one of my favorite techniques. You know, also just taking off your shoes and feeling the earth beneath you. You know, grounding yourself to where you are. Like right now, I said I was barefooted and I was on the hot pavement. Well, now I'm sitting in my yard in this grass. And, you know, I feel the coolness of the grass underneath my feet. And you can do that anywhere. It's just, grounding is just that. It's taking yourself away from that anxiety, from that depression, from those disturbing thoughts. And it's actually bringing you back to a peaceful, serene sense of calmness. It's calming your heart rate down, your blood pressure. It's your endorphins. You know, there's you've probably heard me talk a little bit about grounding before, but there is a saying that, you know, people with PTSD, if somebody goes into the woods that doesn't have PTSD and they see a bear, they immediately get afraid, right? They get scared, and all their senses are on heightened alert. And the bear runs away, and they know the bear is gone, and they calm down. And everything goes back to normal, and they go back on their hike in the woods. Somebody with PTSD goes on a hike in the woods, and they see a bear, and same thing happens. Their heart starts beating, and they start breathing really fast. They get really afraid, which is all normal, right? Anybody who sees a bear runs away. Somebody with PTSD, our senses aren't just going to go back to normal. Somebody with PTSD, that's what it's like to live with PTSD. It's being in that heightened sense of awareness all the time. And that takes a toll on our bodies and on our minds. And that's why, you know, people with mental health live a shorter life than people without mental illness. Because, you know, having your heart beat faster and, you know, being depressed and not getting outside and exercising and eating right and sleeping, that takes years off our life. You know, it ages us. It's just not good for us. Better than any medication is these kind of tools. You know, anxiety is a vicious cycle. You know, it will feed on itself. You have the thought, your heart starts racing, and it just leads to more thoughts going down that rabbit hole. And you have to learn how to break the cycle of the anxiety. And once you do that, you get back in control of your life. I'll call anxiety the green monster in the room, or the monster in the room, because I really do think that's what it is. It's an invisible monster in the room, And invisible is important. Like, it's there and it feels very real to us. But we are bigger than that monster, and we can learn how to take control of the monster and get rid of him. And I speak about this as not only a psychiatric provider who treats patients with PTSD and anxiety disorder and obsessive compulsive disorder. That's somebody who herself who has had PTSD and anxiety, and learned these own techniques and implement them in my own life. So if I'm going to have, I can't tell you the last time I had a flashback, but if I was having a flashback, I am today, I would immediately say, hey, Robin, this is 2025. You're in your home in North Carolina with your husband that loves you dearly, and your Yorkies and Brittany, and you have a job, and you're an adult, and you're in control. And that's me remind myself that I am not in that place of whatever that trauma was that hurt me to begin with. And that's really important, to ground ourselves and remind ourselves, hey, where are we today? What are we doing? We're not there. So that's a few of many grounding techniques. So let me know in the comment section, do you have grounding techniques that you do use? Do you use deep breathing or 5 senses? Some people will hold ice cubes in their hand. Do you do any of those things? Are you one of the people who thinks grounding is just hogwash and it does not work for you? And if so, let me know. I tell my clients, I meet them where they are, and if you think those techniques don't work, we'll figure out what does work. And so that's day 2 of mental health. It's like what to do when you're feeling anxious, depressed. And I'll remind you of a little bit about what I said yesterday: sleep, diet, exercise. If you're starting to feel depressed and anxious, get outside, take a walk, call a friend. Ask for help. The hardest thing, this, is to ask for help. So ask for help. Have that one buddy that you can call and say, hey, I need to talk. And that reliable, dependable friend, family member, whoever it may be. And if they're not available, have a backup plan. Go for a 5 to 10 minute walk. That it will help. It will. Okay. I have people say, no, I am so depressed, I cannot get out of bed, I cannot go for a walk. I'll say, okay, just sit on the side of the bed, put your feet on the floor, and let's start with that. And then, maybe get up and walk to the door in your bedroom, and that's all they do that day. But that's enough. And so, part of what this is meeting you where you are. And obviously I'm not your therapist and don't pretend to be, because I don't know you well enough to tell you. You have to do what's good for you. But I will tell you, these are techniques that work if you practice them. And yeah, you need therapy and you might need medication, but using these techniques is a starting point as well. So tomorrow, I think what we're going to do is we're going to talk about the red, yellow, green light. And what that means is like learning your signs and symptoms of when you're well and when you're not. So that's what's on the plan for tomorrow, Mental Health Awareness Day. So I am giving away a diamond painting kit for week 1, Mental Health Awareness. So Brittany's leaving the form open. I think she said it's Saturday night at 11 o'clock. I don't know. The form is down below. Check it out. It's going to be one of the butterfly with the mental health sayings on it. One of those diamond paintings. I just want to do anything I can to support you during Mental Health Awareness Month. I think this month is I think mental health is important every day, but I think bringing awareness during the month of May is really important. So if there's anything I can do, please reach out to me. I'm happy to, I'm not your therapist, and I really don't give medical advice to not my patients. I'll be happy to give you, some tips and where you can get some resources. There are some things online. There are some handouts and books I can definitely recommend. A great book on anxiety, things like that. Guys, love all of you. Think the world of you. If you need anything, let us know. Brittany and I will be going live again tonight. We went live last night. Really had a good time. It was so much fun. Much needed. Yesterday, for both Brittany and I, was a killer. When I say a killer, it was just a really rough day. And so, people are having a hard time right now. So I think there's no better time to, even if you think this is hogwash, practice these techniques. And hey, tell me in the comments it's hogwash, okay? All right, guys. Love all of you. I'll see you tomorrow for Mental Health Day 3. Take care of yourself. And get out and do something that fills your cup up and makes you happy. And I'll see you tomorrow. Bye-bye. Oh, don't forget, be kind to everybody, both in the real world, on social media, and in the comment section. See you later, guys. Bye.